Hello and welcome to your RGB show, where we revisit and talk about the first game that made a million sales on the PlayStation. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and with no further delay, let's start this video. The Tekken franchise is a well-known fighting game, with many sequels and multiple spin-offs, mangas, anime and even movie adaptations. It is known for the flawless combat system and deep but funny story. But let me take you back to 1994, where the game just got released on Sony's new CD system, the PlayStation 1. The game was developed and published by Namco. It was released in the arcades in 1994 and on the PlayStation in 1995. The Tekken was not originally conceived as a fighting game. The game was originally going to be a title named Rave War, a game similar to Ridge Racer. In 1994, Namco acquired some developers from the long-time competitor Sega, which has recently created the first fighting game, Virtua Fighter. Virtua Fighter was in that time starting to becoming an established franchise with 2 games under his belt. So at first Tekken was marketed to the smaller arcades as a cheaper alternative to Sega's Virtua Fighter. Originally released in the arcades in 1994, Tekken was later ported to the PlayStation. And then Tekken had taken the world by storm. The game was very well received by the critics in Japan. Tekken, as I previously mentioned, was also the first game that made a million sales of the PlayStation. The American magazine Pro even called the PlayStation the best arcade-to-home console ports ever, but commenting the rough and blocky graphics. Yeah, and I mean Love's face. Well, however, the magazine was giving praises for the sound effects and immersive controls. Tekken differs from other hand-to-hand games in some ways. Traditionally fighting games like Street Fighter are usually played with buttons which corresponded the strength of the attack, such as the strong punch or the weak punch. Tekken, however, dedicates a button to each limb of the fighter, making learning special moves more of an intuitive process, resulting in the game having some of a steep learning curve of mastering the combo system. The sequels had a combo list, what made the process of learning much more easier. Where the first sequel you needed to try and remember the combos. It was a easy to pick up but hard to master type of a game, because button mashing will get you not so far against the AI on the harder difficulty. Mastering your skills and combos with your fighter is crucial. And I want to address one more thing, and that is the jumping. In some games you can jump, but in Tekken, jumping has a new meaning. After beating the final boss, Heihachi, the player is awarded with FMV videos, what gives you an insight of every fighter. But the sub-bosses and the final boss do not have endings. And this is the only Tekken game where the unlockable characters do not have endings. Every boss and sub-boss had some criteria to be unlocked, such as beating the game without to be defeated to unlock Heihachi, or as another example, beating the arcade with Nina to unlock Kenna. And a little fun fact, Devil Kazuya is also unlockable by beating the Galga minigame that is playable before the actual game loads. The fights were done in huge open areas, from Japan, America, Italy, Greek, just to name a few. The background were just static images, but still it gave every stage a certain look. The music shifted from every style to accommodate every stage's location. In the options menu, the player has also a choice to set the rounds from 1 to 5, as well as an option for the time limit of each round and of course to choose the difficulty. And now to the story. The 5-year-old Kazuma Mishima was thrown by his father Heihachi Mishima off a cliff to test his strength. Sensing some daddy issues coming. Heihachi Mishima was the owner of the Mishima company, and he wanted to know if his son was worthy to become the new boss of the Mishima company. He survived the fall, but he got a huge scar on his chest, and I'm pretty sure he made a pact with the Satan himself. Not that Satan, the real one. So he managed to climb back up the mountain. Heihachi, the father of Kazuya, in that time adopted a boy named Lee, which he raises to be the rival of Kazuya. where like that wasn't enough damage to the young Kazuya. And Lee's also sub-boss before battling his father, so in that time Kazuya travels the world and competes in martial arts tournaments. Heihachi, after 20 years, wanted to test one more the strength of his son, where he organized the Iron Fist tournament. Every other fighter had also a reason why they participate in the tournament, such as Lee wanting to win some money to open his own restaurant, or Nina had the objective to kill Heihachi. But to finish Kazuya's story, the two meet in the final, and Kazuya finally defeats Heihachi, and he throws him off the cliff, and becomes the new owner of the Mishima company. Well, now I know what was Lau doing. He was trying to call Satan himself and threw Mishima and Kazuya off the cliff. So the conclusion is that the game has some flaws, like the graphic and the FMV, but what important is the gameplay, and Tekken doesn't disappoint there. I just love to messing with Yoshimitsu's combat system, where you're trying to trick your opponent, or King performing some grappling combos. Or to play the opening Galaga game just to remind ourselves how far in gaming have we come.